Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to talk about the subject of if we can grow meat with stem cells, is there any reason not to eat it? Well, if you really think about it, it's really your choice if you want to be vegetarian, vegan, or just somebody who eats everything. But the thing is that scientifically, if you really think about it, humans are omnivores. So they're basically able to eat vegetables as well as meat. And it just comes from the fact that we have teeth that are sharp, that can actually rip the flesh and stuff like that. And that's usually a characteristic of an animal that can eat meat. And then also we have the more flat teeth, which are basically characteristics of animals that eat vegetables. And of course the teeth in the front are very thin because they're not really made to eat meat. But the thing is are we able to change the fact that if we are vegetarian, we should eat meat just because it's created in the laboratory? Well, the thing is that once again, it comes back to your choice. We've determined already that, again, on the science perspective, scientifically, basically, eating too much meat is actually really not good for us, especially anything that has to do with red meats, because red meat is a carcinogen, which basically creates cancerous cells, and the more you eat it, the more at risk you can get of that. Of course, not everybody who eats meat is actually gonna die of cancer and stuff like that. That's just ridiculous. And the thing is that also, when they say it gives you more of a risk of getting cancer, it could be like an extra 1% or 2%. It's not really that big, but it's true that meats are also harder to digest. So technically, it takes more energy. So you will be more tired. And if you use too much energy, well, you need to eat more to keep that energy going. And whereas foods such as vegetables and stuff like that, well, they're easy. They're just kind of like water. They're mostly water, so they just kind of flush down your system and stuff like that. So usually people who eat vegetables, they also need to eat more of it because it does it just flushes out really fast. Your stomach is always empty. But at the same time, it's harder to get obese. It's harder to get phlegm out of it, which is phlegm is basically inflammation within your body that is also related to cancer and other things. But this does not mean that we don't have to eat meat. There's different, depending on your blood type and all that. Some people can't tolerate the fact of being vegan, for example, whereas for other blood types, it's great. So it's really very dependent on how your biology is. So I would say if you want to go one way or the other, go see a nutritionist first, see what they say, and then also test it out and see how you feel. Do you feel better? Do you feel worse? But is it because now, from a humane perspective, the fact that we can create meat in laboratories with stem cells, well, does it make it all right to eat meat? Well, it does definitely make it better, because at the same time, if you really like meat and you're doing it for a humane perspective kind of way, because you don't like the way that farms treat animals and how we kill all the poultry and the fish and all these things, because even though fish they always say it's not meat, you could be a pescatarian, and it kind of is. I mean, it still goes back to that fact of, well, it's coming from a living creature, so it's not because it's not a mammal that it's still not meat. It's still a kind of meat. It's just a different type of meat. And the thing is really, if you can't create it in a laboratory and stem cells are working fine for you and you like the taste of meat, well, I think that's the reason to start eating it. So it's actually okay. Of course, there's a lot of people that don't like the fact of using stem cells and all that stuff, because a lot of the research that's done from that actually comes from using embryos and things like that. But in the great scheme of things, if you can save billions and millions of lives of animals and you can treat them better, then maybe we can eventually exist in a world where cows can roam free and chickens can roam free, and the animals that we've decided that are the ones that we eat as Western society can be more free to live by their own means, because they also have feelings and stuff like that, and the way that they do treat them in farms and stuff is really, really horrible. So why not? But at the same time, again, on a health perspective, we have determined also, again, that basically eating less meat and much less of it, or even completely eliminating it from our diet, depending on your blood type, depending how you feel, is actually much better for you. It has shown that people can stay younger longer, they have more energy, they just function better, they get less tired by reducing their meat intake. Because we can't forget that historically the reason that we are attracted to sugars and meats and stuff like that is because they were scarce. So you'd have to hunt for it, and sugar and stuff like that was harder to get by. You'd get it from fruit and stuff like this. But now everything, or every meal you can get from a supermarket that's pre-made and stuff like that, has more than our daily intake of salt, sugar, preservatives for meats and all that stuff, which is not good for us. So definitely look at it from that perspective. Think what's best for you, try different things, experiment, but definitely the fact that we can create meats from stem cells in labs is really, really positive thing, and it's really a step in the right direction, at least for the future of our Earth. Now you got to think about the future of yourself and decide what's good for you and what's not. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.